Did you know human trafficking involves deception, coercion, or debt bondage that is paid in putting or holding a person, voluntarily or involuntarily, of servitude? Now, imagine child trafficking involving the deception of a child, the coercion of a child, or debt bondage that is paid in putting or holding a child for involuntary servitude. It is crucial that survivors of such life-altering trauma receive adequate long-term mental care to help reintegrate them into society as functioning citizens. As of 2022, there are 2.1 million Nigerian children being trafficked. As survivors, these trafficked victims who have endured such trauma will forever have their mentality affected, taking their innocence away. Like all children around the world, Nigerian children have the right to life, to a childhood, to freedom, access to schooling, their human rights, and mental stability. But all of this gets taken away when they become trafficking victims. Children are exploited because many families become desperate in trying to provide for their basic survival needs, making poverty the driving force to human trafficking. This can cause families to become desperate for money, attempt to escape chronic poverty, or have dues that are owed, in which families resort to giving a child as payment. These children become victims who experience many psychological issues like integration difficulties, PTSD, alienation, anxiety, and disorientation. This cycle of poverty is continued by the victim's inability to maintain a job due to the psychological issues that cause trust issues, aggression, and suicidal ideation. To help break the cycle, medical professionals need to provide mental health care with kindness, compassion, and patience for the trafficked victims. Reports show that survivors who have received adequate social support with their mental health were more successful in integrating back into the community. Nigeria is a low-income country and is projected to increase in poverty by 2024. The rural parts of Nigeria are targeted for child trafficking because of the scarce job opportunities, regional pay inequalities, and an increased tax on goods. Sex trafficking and forced labor are seen as modern-day slavery. These are the most common trafficking rings a child in the rural parts of Nigeria could endure. Educating children in Nigeria can help spread awareness about child trafficking and improve employment opportunities. Studies shown that Nigerian children who live in a single-parent household are more likely to encounter abuse. In Nigeria, street vending, agriculture, mining, household-level servants, construction, and brass smelting are high in demand, which make them wanted as modern-day slaves. Adults and children entrusting the wrong people can result in exploitation of the innocent. The Nigerian government is considered to be Tier 2 in TIP, Trafficking in Persons Report, and it is trying to fix child trafficking by increasing convictions and time served by those found guilty. Those who have faced the unfathomable reality of child trafficking will require adequate mental health care to help them make an attempt at living a normal life in hope of avoiding the cycle of poverty. There was a story shared about a 16-year-old girl named Timothy. She had agreed to live with her aunt and uncle in a different state because her family was experiencing severe poverty to the point where they weren't able to put food on the table. Her uncle promised her she could go to school and would be taken care of if she chose to do so. But instead, she was met with modern-day slavery. She was not allowed to go anywhere, talk to anyone, or be alone without taking care of her cousins. She was forced to cook, clean, and care for her cousins, aunt, and uncle. If household duties were not done to their liking, Timothy would receive harsh punishments, like the slamming of car doors on her hands, and would still be expected to perform household duties demanded of her. Her uncle would barge into her room at night, or while she was bathing, and rape her. She would try to stop him by locking her doors, but the very next day she was met with his wrath. She would cry herself to sleep, not wanting to live that life anymore. Could you imagine having to fight for your life physically, but also mentally survive the thoughts that cross your mind when facing trauma every day for 4 years? Timothy has endured this horrific life for years because she has yet to escape in fear of the consequences she or her family could face from her uncle. Unfortunately, Timothy is a victim of sex trafficking and forced modern-day slavery. When she is able to escape the daily torture, she will need adequate mental health care to allow her to surpass the negative effects of modern-day slavery. Child trafficking is common in Nigeria, but it is also found in other parts of the world. Commonly targeted locations are schools and parks, a place where your child, niece, nephew, grandchild, godchild, or a family friend could possibly attend or play. The most traumatic, lasting effects are when sisters, brothers, in-laws, family members, or a trusted neighbor around the corner exploit an innocent child. Surprise! The nasty truth is, any of these people could be involved in child trafficking. Ruining a child's mental health can lead kids to have a fatal and damaging future with lack of assistance in helping them reintegrate into society as a functioning citizen. We hope this never happens to anyone we know, but if our children were exploited in such ways, we would want them to receive the best medical help possible and provide them with adequate mental health care to help them have some normalcy in life. Creating a program with nurses who have a background or specialty of mental health and trauma victims can create a caring, encouraging, therapeutic, and trusting environment for children who fall victim to trafficking. Implementing a long-term program can help a child learn beneficial coping mechanisms, therapeutic communication, and talk through the trauma endured. The program could provide the needed preventative care for mental health stability to reintegrate survivors of child trafficking back into society with hopes of creating a positive employment outcome. Nigerian children deserve equal treatment. So talk about it, record it, report it, post it. Let's make a change and help children in Nigeria.